Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 2 of Dauphiné. 167 kilometers, about 105 miles in length, and it has 2 circuits at the finish of today's race of 35 kilometers. There is 1 KOM that'll summit with about 10 kilometers to go on today's stage, and it's 1K at 8%, so it's a hard climb. That's why when the commentators, if you were watching yesterday's stage 1, was saying today's not really an ideal stage for the pure sprinters like Dylan Groenewegen and Sam Bennett, but it's why it is a good stage for Christophe Laporte, who won yesterday's stage 1 for Jumbo-Visma, and he's wearing the race leader's yellow jersey here, starting stage 2 of Dauphiné. Now, when the action comes on with about 65 kilometers to go, there's 6 riders in the front break, but let me back the film up just a little bit because there was actually 7 originally, as it was Donovan Grodin from Arkea Samsic that got dropped out of the front group, and that leaves us with 6 up there. Now, Donovan will have some massive cramps, and we'll see him on the side of the road. One spectator sitting there looked like he wanted to help him out, realizes he can't, so he pulls out his cell phone and decides this is a great time for a picture. Well, he gets some staff over there. They start rubbing the muscles out, and the KOM jersey wearer here on stage 2 will finish today's stage, and we'll still keep the KOM jersey at the end of today's stage. But let's get into the action and let's talk about the 6 riders left up in the front group, because it's my man Victor Campenaerts up there. Victor Campenaerts is up there for Lotto Destiny. Then we got Kenny Elissonde from Trek Segafredo, Nans Peters from AG2R's in there, Andre Piccolo from EF Education, Jonas Grego from UnoX, and Pierre Latour from Total Energies, the last rider to round out these 6 guys that are still left here on stage 2. Now, these guys don't have much of a time gap, about a minute behind when we're looking at the peloton, and it's Pseudo Quick-Step and Dylan Van Barley's Jumbo-Visma that's riding the front. Dries Devenins from Pseudo Quick-Step's doing big effort up there. Dylan Van Barley, same thing. They're pulling hard. And the group up front, the 6 guys, that gap is just not given any kind of leash here on stage 2. Now, they'll come in with about 40 kilometers to go. They'll start the KOM climb. This is when we see Pierre Latour. He's having all kinds of problems, and he starts cramping just like Donovan did. Pierre Latour struggles to get back up into the front group, then comes back out, and that's the end of the day here for Pierre Latour from Total Energy, as the cramps are just having too much effect on his legs. We'll see him get wrapped up from the peloton behind. Now up front, 5 guys are left. They're just getting caught with about 30 kilometers to go. And my man, Victor Campenaerts, knows it's time to accelerate away. He throws in a big attack. Kenny Elissonde, Trek Segafredo. The smaller rider follows directly behind the wheel there, Victor Campenaerts, as those 2 riders get a gap on the 3 behind. The 3 looked like they wanted to close it, but they just didn't have the legs, and they'll get wrapped up from the peloton behind. Now, the peloton's coming full gas. A lot of times curb to curb, you'd see EF Education at the front. Border Hansgrohe were interested, and they were getting curb to curb as it was getting nervous left and right. But Jumbo-Visma and Pseudo Quick-Step were always under control here at the front of the peloton. We start the last and final climb just with about 11 kilometers to go. We see a little bit look back there of the shoulder and the head there from Kenny Elissonde as he wants my man Victor Campenaerts to come through, but Victor Campenaerts doesn't have any legs left. He'll pull through after the left turn to start the final climb here on stage 2, but that won't last very long as you see the peloton right behind. Kenny Elissonde tried one last little acceleration, but the peloton wrapped him up nicely to have everything together here on stage 2 as they're coming up the final climb. We get 500 meters into the climb. This is when we see the next attack. It's coming from Albacete de Koenig's Tobias Bayer. Bayer throws in a big attack, and now look at the front of the peloton. Well, that's Jonas Vingegaard on the front with Christophe Laporte sitting second wheel. No other Jumbo-Visma guys at the front of the peloton. Won't take too much longer, though, before we see Walter come back to the front of the peloton and start pulling. Up front, going over the final KOM, dropping down the descent to go into the finish of today's stage. Bayer's got a bit of a gap of about 5-8 seconds on the peloton. Starts to extend it out as you see him taking maximum risk going through this right turn with the house there and the spectator watching him as he's skimming straight by him right there to make the right and then accelerate on the pedals for the next little uphill drag. We see the peloton go through this same turn. Guess what? Only 4 Jumbo-Visma riders on the front. We see Walter's there, Tis Benoot's there, Jonas Vingegaard's there, of course, because he's one of the best riders in the world. And then we see Christophe Laporte wearing the bright yellow jersey there for Jumbo-Visma because he won yesterday's stage 1. Walter's on the front drilling as hard as he can. He's got some help later with Pseudo Quick-Step coming to the front with Maury Van Savenant. Those 2 riders are doing damage control to the front rider up there, Tobias Bayer, Albacete de Koenig. He'll get wrapped up with about 4 kilometers to go. Let me back the film up just a tiny bit before that. We'll see it's Jaco Alula all lined up on the right side of the road as they got Dylan Groenewegen over the last climb. I saw Sam Bennett near the front of the group peloton here too as we went over the final climb and down this descent. So we know the pure sprinters are in with a shot at winning stage 2 if they can get the legs to get them up the final drag all the way up to the line here. Now, so we got everything wrapped up with 4 kilometers to go. We see Jumbo-Visma's on the front. It's Thijs Benoot. He's driving it hard as he possibly can. We're getting into 2 kilometers to go, just under 2. We'll see Thijs Benoot. He's looking back over his shoulder at about 1.4, 1.6. Thijs Benoot's throwing in his last big acceleration as the drag is going up. Jumbo-Visma's got it all single filed up there on the right side of the road. You can see the peloton. You know Thijs Benoot's going 100%. Then he finally blows at about 1.2. Now, this is the dilemma right here. We have Jonas Vingegaard on the front, last year's Tour de France champion, doing a lead out again like we saw in yesterday's stage 1. Now, I think this becomes big-time knucklehead moves throughout this whole stage of what we've watched out of Jumbo-Visma, and I'll explain it to you after the stage is finished. But Jonas Vingegaard's going full gas. We look directly on his wheel. That's Jack Haig from Bahrain Victorious. Behind him, Christophe Laporte. Just behind that, a little further back, we see it's Julian Alaphilippe there. Sam Bennett's in the picture. Sam Bennett, Bora Hansgrohe, looks like he's got a shot at winning stage 2. And EF Education are represented with Sean Quinn and Richard Carapaz. Sean Quinn sitting like 4th position. Richard Carapaz just slightly off over to his wheel as Jonas Vingegaard's throwing in everything. 1K to go. We'll see him go under the 1K banner as the road bends to the right, and then 950 meters tacking over on the left side is Sean Quinn. Sean Quinn quickly looks right over his shoulder there. He's looking dead in the eyes of Carapaz, and Carapaz is thinking about going with him, but the veteran rider knows 950 meters is a long ways to go, so Sean Quinn's got to go solo as Carapaz slots back in the wheel there behind the Jumbo-Visma train. Now, Jonas Vingegaard solo on the front. He's got to bring back Sean Quinn. He's digging deep. We look back there, just about 4th, 5th position. We see it's Sam Bennett. Behind him, Julian Alaphilippe. Carapaz is all wrapped up in the front group here, too, as he decided not to go with Sean Quinn. So he's got a great spot here. Just about 350 meters to go. We see Jonas Vingegaard's almost got Sean Quinn wrapped up. 300 meters to go. He starts to wrap him up. 200 meters to go. Carapaz, Richard Carapaz, Giro d'Italia winner. He throws in his first attack. He's going hard, but look directly right away. It's Julian Alaphilippe locked onto his wheel. Just behind him, Trek Segafredo Tafasio is there. And then behind the Tafasio, or slightly off over to the side, is Fred Wright, Bahrain Victorious. Up front, let's back the film up just a hair, because before that attack happened, just going under 300 meters, it was Jack Haig that was sitting second wheel on Jonas Vingegaard's wheel from Bahrain Victorious, and he decided at just about 300 meters as they were catching the front rider there, Sean Quinn, he pulls out hard right, sits up because he realizes Fred Wright's too far back. Now let's fast forward again up to 200 meters with Richard Carapaz throwing in his attack. Fred Wright's right there, but sitting about 4th wheel. 175 meters to go. Jonas Vingegaard's had enough. He pulls over. Christophe Laporte has to start his acceleration because Carapaz over on the right of him has got a little bit of a few-inch gap in terms of leading here on stage 2. Now, I'm sitting here on the Chesterfield thinking, Christophe Laporte, this is the money delivered. Jonas Vingegaard has done everything except for giving you a Cadillac ride to the finish. With 175 meters to go, Christophe Laporte starts his sprint, but he's not making any inroads, right? He's starting to fade. 125 meters to go. Look there, it's Julian Alaphilippe, Soudal quick step rider, kicks into acceleration to the line. As they come out of the bend, we'll see Julian Alaphilippe neck and neck with Richard Carapaz with 85 meters to go. 75 meters to go. He's got a little bit of a nudge there on Richard Carapaz. 50 meters to go. It's about a bike length, and 30 meters to go. Well, Julian Alaphilippe, Soudal quick step sitting up and going, calm, guys. Calm, I got this under control. All you non-believers out there who thought I couldn't win races, well, I'm back. And I'm here to tell you, up on the butterfly effect, Julian Alaphilippe has never left. Soudal quick step rider wins today's stage 2 in magnificent style, blowing by Christophe Laporte, Richard Carapaz, and holding off the fast guys from behind. As Sam Bennett's Bora Hansgrohe's legs blew, still finished in the top 10, but did not win today's stage. And Fred Wright had no gas left to make any inroads on Julian Alaphilippe. second on the stage. Richard Carapaz, EF Education. It's a bike throw between Richard Carapaz, Tesfacion for third, and then for fourth on the stage, that's Christophe Laporte. No time bonuses, which means Christophe Laporte is tied on the time general classification here at the Dauphiné after stage 2 with none other than Julian Alaphilippe. He'll keep the race leader's yellow jersey because of stage placements between stage 1 and 2. Christophe Laporte had better stage placings with his fourth place finish today, so he'll hold the race leader's yellow jersey. But when it's all said and done, Jumbo-Visma, what were you guys thinking? Are you guys knuckleheads? Well, Christophe Laporte gets up there in his interview, talks about how he had bad legs throughout today's stage. And are you kidding me? You had bad legs throughout today's stage? Well, let me even tell you some more information because I didn't find out till after the stage. I kept wondering, where was Steven Kruijswijk throughout today's stage finish when they went over to KOM and it was Valters on the front and Thies Benoot chasing? Where was Steven Kruijswijk? Well, we had to look it up because remember, the video only came on with about 65, 70 kilometers to go in today's race. So we missed the crash from Steven Kruijswijk, which fractured his pelvis and broke his collarbone. So Steven Kruijswijk, Jumbo-Visma, 7th rider here for Jumbo-Visma starting Dauphiné, is out and was out early on today's stage. Now, when you look at the interview from Christophe Laporte, I'm not upset that he didn't win the stage. I'm upset that he said his legs didn't feel good early in the stage and he never had quite the form to be explosive at the finish in order to win. So if you're wearing the race leader's jersey for almost any other team, you pick any other team here at Dauphiné on stage 2 and you're Christophe Laporte and you're wearing the race leader's jersey, you race today just like you guys did, even though Steven Kruijswijk crashed out. But if you're Jumbo-Visma and you have last year's 2022 Tour de France champion, Jonas Vingegaard here, who wants to win the general classification, you already won yesterday's stage. You put the race leader's yellow jersey on anyways. You know Christophe Laporte is not going to keep the race leader's yellow jersey here at Dauphiné, but you had bad legs. You had Steven Kruijswijk who crashed out, so you've lost a good climbing super domestique for Jonas Vingegaard here on stage 2, and you still rode your whole team on the front. Now, like I said, it's all in the details. You know, for up here on the Butterfly Effect, I'm all about the details. Any other team, pick any team you want in this race. If you have Christophe Laporte in the race leader's yellow jersey and you lost 3 of your guys, 4 of your guys, you still ride to defend yellow and you still try to get Christophe Laporte a stage win. But if you're Jumbo-Visma with Jonas Vingegaard, who, can anyone out there really argue with me that Jonas Vingegaard stands the biggest chance right now here at stage 2 of winning the general classification here at Dauphiné? Absolutely he is. You got a stage win for Christophe Laporte. You got him in yellow. Who cares what happens on stage 2? Especially if you lose Steven Kruijswijk. You sit up, you let the break go, you give the race leader's jersey away, and you don't worry about getting the race leader's jersey until after the individual time trial or the first big mountain stage here at Dauphiné, but you get the race leader's jersey for Jonas Vingegaard, not for Christophe Laporte. So when I was sitting there on the Chesterfield and saw the interview from Christophe Laporte saying, I don't think my legs were that good, and I knew it at the beginning of the stage, man, you say give this jersey away, who cares? Now we switch. We switch the plan. Get rid of this ridiculous plan of holding the race leader's jersey with Christophe Laporte while destroying your whole team here on stage 2 and focus now on Jonas Vingegaard winning the Dauphiné. Instead, they never switch their plans. Jumbo-Visma never do. And normally, why should they? Normally, they don't lose because of strength. They find some way to make it happen, right? But now looking forward, when we go into stage 3, the individual time trial and the mountain stages later here at Dauphiné, keep in mind, back here on stage 2, when they lost Steven Kruijswijk, one of the super domestiques there for Jonas Vingegaard in the mountains, that's gone. When they rode Dylan van Baarle all day, when they've ridden Valters throughout both yesterday's stage, later in the stage for about 30 kilometers, and then rode him today on the front when he's also one of their climbers, those are big-time mistakes. So when at the end of today's stage, Julian Alaphilippe is certainly back, but guys, he has never left because he is Julian Alaphilippe, and all of his lack of results through the last 2 years are well justified with his crashes and COVID positives throughout the last 2 seasons. So I never thought the guy was gone. He is the second best rider on Pseudo Quickstep. Only guy ahead of him is Remco Evenepoel. Heck, I might even have Julian Alaphilippe as my 6th best rider in the world when that guy's on form. And so all you Matthew Van Der Poel guys are going to be upset at me because Julian Alaphilippe puts on a show everywhere he goes when he's on form, right? So look out, Jonas Vingegaard, because Julian Alaphilippe gained time on you by 10 seconds on today's stage as you wasted energy throughout today's stage leading out Christophe Laporte today and yesterday. And keep in mind, Carapaz got second on today's stage, and Carapaz is a Giro d'Italia champion with a 6-second bonus now over Jonas Vingegaard. So not only did Christophe Laporte not win the stage when he knew his legs were bad, not only did Jumbo-Visma ride throughout the stage without Steven Kruijswijk and wasting their whole team that they might need in the mountain stages later, but they gave up time bonuses to Julian Alaphilippe and to Richard Carapaz here at Stage 2. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We got a bunch more stages coming here at Dauphiné, so I'll see you guys real soon on the next edition.